Hey guys, so this is my very first Finnabair styled or inspired canvas. The canvas is a 4x12 canvas, and this is a canvas that I altered for the swap on your paper pantry. I apologize in advance for my voice. I am actually quite sick, or rather, I'm just getting over being quite sick, so it's a little fuzzy. So nothing really much happening here. I just used a um, heart frame that I picked up from Michael's, and I am applying it to the center of this canvas. Then I gesso it, and now what you see me doing is just adding some lace pieces. Most of the lace, like the top and bottom lace that you see here, that came from the Flying Unicorn December kit, or I don't know, I don't remember which one. I think it was one of the small art big passion kit, the one where you make the cards that came with the cards. So yeah, I essentially just use one of the 13 art stencils that also came in one of the December kits. I just use it with some modeling paste here. I'm essentially trying to get a outburst, or the look of an outburst of flowers coming from the heart in the middle. And as you go watch through the video, you'll see that I just I add gesso at different points. I just don't normally show myself adding gesso, but you'll be able to tell because essentially everything will be covered with gesso. At this point here, I'm actually working at night, and because of my crafting setup has changed. I don't have a light set up properly yet for nighttime crafting, so I'm essentially working by the light of a very very malpositioned um, like LED light. So I have to mount it somehow, and I'm not sure how that's going to happen yet. So what I'm using here is some chipboard elements that also came in the one of the December kits. I think this was the mixed art kit, so like the essentially the add-on kit that you can get, which has like extra embellishments for you to use. um so as you can see, I'm using, or rather I have already gessoed the smaller piece that I've adhered down already, and then now what you see me doing is adding some recollections flowers from the dollar bin to the canvas. So, nothing fancy going on here. I'm just using the measuring tape as a weight. And once again, as you can see, I've gessoed those. Now I'm working by daylight, so that's why it's so much brighter in this clip. So here I'm just adding like everything I could find that I thought would maybe work on the canvas. So I add some metal flowers. I add a button I think that I got from a pair of jeans that broke. I'm adding some just random metal pieces, really, that I had that I have in one of my junk drawer things. I add some of the plastic or plastic rhinestones for sure. Um, yeah, I added a button there. I wanted to really add one of these bottle caps. I have these bottle cap charms that I've had forever, and haven't used them. No idea how I'm going to use them, but they didn't get added. Then we have some leaves that I put in. Those are leaves that I got from a pair of earrings that I've dismantled. I got them for super cheap, so no worries. Then some, just random bits and pieces of junk, Finnabair style. I don't think there's anything else really to add to it. Oh well, and yeah, buttons and rhinestones. And this here is actually a flower charm. I cut off the charm bit, and I stuck the flower part underneath the other flowers. Then now it's all gessoed, and I've zoomed in here because this is where I'm going to start doing my color spraying stuff. So I use Color Bloom's, a Prima Color Bloom spray at first, and it wasn't really giving me the coverage I wanted. So then what I decided to do was use the Heidi Swap black spray called Black Velvet. And my nozzle was clogged, I guess. So what I did instead was I took the nozzle out and I just painted it on. Um, it also didn't quite give me the coverage I wanted. I was really trying to make the center heart pop quite a bit, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's like too bad, so sad. I made it work. It's just it wasn't what I was looking for at first. Then what I did was as I was going along, I wanted to add like that dripping effect kind of thing. So I sprayed it with water, and because I sprayed it with water, it made it a lot more diluted. So here I'm using Mr. Huey's Mary Mary, I think is called the color. And so what I was going for was essentially a red to a black to a purple. That's the final outcome of this canvas is a red to a black to a purple. And essentially this was my lighter color, my lighter red color, it was actually very pink, very, very pink. Looking at it in the video, it doesn't look very pink, but it was very pink. This is another color bloom spray that I'm using, and this one here, after I sprayed it, I realized it's way too light, and I was a little bit unhappy about that. It looks darker in the picture or in the video than it is in the picture, but yeah, it was a bit too light for my likings. Um, what I did was then go back on the red side in order to darken that up, and I used the color peppermint from Mr. Huey's. And then on the right side, what I did was I used the color by Ditto, which I don't know if they even still make things anymore, but I got them at Michael's. And on both sides, I did spray with water in order to spread the color and get it a bit more gradient. At that point, I was wearing gloves because of how runny everything was. And because the center heart was not like dark enough for me, I went in with my acrylic silks glaze in black ice and I tried to darken it up again. This time, I think if I had done 2 coats, I would have gotten the effect that I wanted, but it was still wet and then it dried. By the time it dried, I had already, moved on essentially. So I was like, you know what? It's gonna have to be the way it is. So this time, because it is an acrylic paint, like it's a highly pigmented and glittery acrylic paint, I just I had to put it on by brush, and I didn't spray that in order to spread the color. Um, At this point here, I'm using some Rub and Buff to add some silver highlights to some of the raised parts of the canvas. I have never actually used Rub and Buff before. Seeing how it goes on now, I would probably use my Inca Golds next time instead of the Rub and Buff. I just feel like having the shine in a similar color as opposed to one accent color would probably have given me a bit more of the look that I was going for. But, these are those things that you kind of live and learn. Right here, what I'm using is there's a new, or I don't know if it's super new, but there's a plastic that you can get from the Wendy Vecchi line, and it's essentially you can cut it out and you can heat it, and it stays in the shape that it cools down in. So what I had done with those is I had actually used one of the dyes that came in the Flying Unicorn December kit, and I'd run it through my die cutting machine, and then I cut them out. Like I had to finish cutting them up by hand because the plastic was so thick. And then what I did was I heated them up and then I layered them, and it was just butterflies. So I mean, super easy to layer. What I did inside the heart just now was just added some liquid adhesive, the Ranger Glossy Accents, and then now what I'm doing is adding just a variety of sparkly things. I thought that I may end my sparkle situation there because I essentially didn't want it to be too much sparkle for the middle because I was going to cover it up anyway. And what I end up covering them up with are these charms that came in a set from Michaels. And I think they say strength, courage, and faith. And I thought those were really, really great sentiment stab in the middle of the heart. And here, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of scooping up some of the color that landed on my little foam base thingy there. I actually use the foam kind of as an alternative to just having the surface under it because it's soft that way and it absorbs the color as opposed to just kind of letting it go everywhere and then having me to clean it up later. I know some people do use, sheets that they plan to reuse later, but I find that I don't end up reusing them. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Here are the stills, and I hope you drop by again soon. All right, take care, guys. Bye for now.